I still remember that rainy night like it was yesterday. The rain came down in sheets, each cold drop soaking straight through my thin jacket and hammering against the old suitcase left standing outside the door. Sarah, 21 years old, stood there trembling, fingers clenched around the strap of my bag. My father, the same man who used to hold me tight every night while Mom was sick, now stared at me with eyes that felt like a stranger's. Beside him was my stepmother, arms folded, that cold, painted smile on her bright red lips. "Sarah, get out. This house has no room left for the daughter of that dead bitch anymore." Her voice cut like a blade. Mom had passed away exactly 6 months earlier. The doctors called it cancer. But I hadn't even cried out all my tears before Dad brought her home. Remarried after just 6 months. No explanation, no comforting hug, only shouting matches, sharp slaps across my face, and finally my suitcase hurled onto the wet pavement. The last text from Dad read, "Don't come back. We're not family anymore." I stood frozen as the rain mixed with my tears. The street was pitch black, streetlights casting a sickly yellow glow over muddy puddles. My suitcase felt impossibly heavy. Inside were just a few clothes, one faded photo of Mom smiling softly, and less than $300, the only money she had left me. I wandered the streets all night, feet numb with cold, stomach twisting with hunger. Curled up under a bus stop shelter, I kept whispering the same questions into the dark. Why, Mom? Why did Dad forget you so fast? And why? Have I become nothing but a burden? 3 days later, I was completely exhausted. I lost my part-time job because I had no fixed address. I slept on park benches, scavenged leftover bread from trash bins. One freezing night, inside a cheap 2-4-hour internet cafe, I scrolled through Facebook Marketplace with swollen, burning eyes. A strange listing popped up. Abandoned house for urgent sale. Only $5. Remote location, needs cleaning, no refunds. The photos showed a crumbling old house with peeling walls and broken windows, but the roof still held. The seller had written, "Nobody wants it. It's haunted." I let out a bitter laugh. Haunted? After sleeping on the street, ghosts felt like company. With my last $5 and a few cents in online fees, I clicked, "Buy now." An electronic contract appeared. 10 minutes later it was done. I was now the owner of an abandoned house in the suburbs, 2 hours away by bus. My heart hammered against my ribs. This was the craziest decision of my life, or maybe the only one that could save me. The bus dropped me off on a gray afternoon. The house sat at the end of a muddy red dirt road, surrounded by thick pine woods. Wind howled through the cracks, carrying the heavy smell of damp mold and rotting leaves. I pushed the front door open. The hinges screamed like a wounded animal. Inside was pitch dark, dust swirling thick in the beam of my cheap flashlight. The wooden floor groaned under every step. I dragged my suitcase in, found an old mattress in the corner, and collapsed. That first night I lay shivering, listening to the wind moan outside the broken windows. "Mom, where am I?" I whispered into the darkness. The next days I worked slowly, fixing what I could. I bought cheap paint and plywood with the little money I had left. Every stroke of the brush felt like I was bringing Mom closer. She had taught me how to paint walls, how to turn a house into a home. Then the strange things began. In an old kitchen drawer, I found a yellowed envelope addressed in Mom's handwriting. "For Sarah. Open only when I'm gone." My hands shook as I tore it open. Inside was a short note. "My darling, if you're reading this, I'm already gone. Don't trust your father. Search the house. I love you." I froze. How did Mom know about this house? That was when the noises started. Soft footsteps on the attic floor at night. Sometimes a faint whisper. I told myself it was just the wind or rats. But then I noticed a hollow-sounding wall in the main bedroom. I grabbed an old hammer and smashed through the plaster. Behind it was a tiny hidden room, barely big enough for a desk, and a small safe. Inside the safe lay Mom's diary, old photographs, and a plain black USB drive. I plugged the drive into my second-hand laptop, The screen flickered to life. It was a video Mom had recorded in secret. She sat in our old living room, voice trembling. "Sarah, I know your father and that woman are trying to kill me. They've been poisoning my food. I hid all the evidence here. In this house I bought in secret last year, so you'd have somewhere safe if anything happened to me. Your father wants the insurance money and the property. Don't trust anyone." My heart stopped. It wasn't cancer. It was murder. I read deeper into the diary. Page after page detailed the stomach pains after dinners Dad cooked, the secret phone calls between him and my stepmother about the perfect plan. And the biggest twist: this $5 house wasn't random. The seller was Mom's old lawyer. She had paid for it in advance and set the price at $5 so it would legally become mine the moment she died. It was her final escape plan for me. That night I cried until I had no tears left. Then the anger came, burning hot and clear. I called the police. I brought them the USB, the diary, everything. They moved fast. Dad and my stepmother were arrested within 2 days. The evidence was undeniable. In the interrogation room, Dad finally confessed. They had poisoned Mom slowly to collect $2 million in life insurance. My stepmother smirked as the handcuffs clicked shut. "That little girl of yours will never win." But I did win. Today the house is no longer abandoned. I painted the walls the soft cream color Mom loved. New windows, let warm sunlight pour in. Every morning I sit on the front porch with a cup of coffee, feeling Mom right beside me. The court returned all the assets to me. Dad received a life sentence. I am no longer the girl who was thrown out into the rain. I am Sarah, the girl who turned heartbreak into strength. That $5 house didn't just give me shelter. It gave me back my mother. And the greatest lesson of all: family isn't always blood. Family is the people who would never abandon you. If you're listening to this story right now and you feel lost and alone, remember this. Sometimes the darkest road leads straight to the house that holds all your hope. That night I cried until I had no tears left. Then the anger came, burning hot and clear. I called the police. I brought them the USB, the diary, everything. They moved fast. Dad and my stepmother were arrested within 2 days. The evidence was undeniable. In the interrogation room, Dad finally confessed. They had poisoned Mom slowly to collect $2 million in life insurance. My stepmother smirked as the handcuffs clicked shut. "That little girl of yours will never win." But I did win. I am Sarah, the girl who turned heartbreak into strength. That $5 house didn't just give me shelter. It gave me back my mother. And the greatest lesson of all: family isn't always blood. Family is the people who would never abandon you. If you're listening to this story right now and you feel lost and alone, remember this. Sometimes the darkest road leads straight to the house that holds all your hope.